power. Of course the engine hours are reset to 0.
Brisbane International Station, platform on the right hand side, direction to travel.
So anchored in our usual spot on the west side of NorthPort. It looks pretty fully loaded. Two of the cranes are stowed. Looks like they're lashing down the forward bays. It's Saturday morning. Ships are ready to go. Well, I would have thought this would be heavier because it must be made out of solid gold, because there is the price, $1,342.40. So we'd better install it. Bloody well better work. be out with the old here. Put the wiring for the alternator relay controller back together, and then cross one's fingers. So the bolts that hold on to the block are 8mm. Then we swap the cables over. That's the engine start stud, that's 8. That's plus 12, and the weakest one over is the glow plugs, and they're 10mm nuts. Right, reconnected. I've left the bypass jump start connected just in case in the future. So that goes to momentary on between the plus 12 from the engine battery and the starter solenoid. Right, harness is reconnected and reattached to the block. Now what, the moment of truth. So it's the starboard engine power. Well, we have power. Of course the engine hours are reset to 0. Well, that's the same faults as we had with the old one. Well, I don't know, I'm pretty unhappy at the moment. So maybe it wasn't that really expensive box. Wiring, faulty sensor, I just don't know at the moment. So we'll go and shift anyway. I'm glad I left the button connected. Charging. We wouldn't normally get 100 amps out of one engine, but we'll check when we get to an anchorage. I think we'll anchor here, so it's a reasonably cool sou'wester.
I got to close the TR, but can you say again your call sign, please?
Just got the starboard engine running on idle. Don't think it's charging, so the previous reading would have been the port engine plus solar. Right, so we have alarm silence, still have an alarm showing, and still can't turn it off from the panel, or turn the power off from the panel. And we can silence it from the alarm silence button. window open, you can see some water splashed in. Flying southwest 18 to 20. Just got the jib up, sailing on the starboard engine as the engine bay needs to be dried after the wake from the tug. I did wash it down with fresh water. Right, it's passing Snake Bank. That's Whangārei Bay on the left. Turn the engine off, we've dropped a whole knot down to 6.6. So we're doing a slightly close reach just on the jib. Oh, as is typical for a sou'wester, it's a bit gusty and variable, but we're now doing a close reach and 22 knots apparent. Just still got the jib up, but I'm sure it will stay that way. We're passing home, we're pretty much come on to almost close haul, so to make progress we have one engine going. Right, so there's Whangarei on the right, Limestone Island you can't see but it's on the left. Oh, the sou'wester's dying out, as they tend to do later in the day. Just on high tide, so we're now facing the correct way. Up, that's the Whangārei River. Up there's Whangarei and North End. I still have the birdies tweeting away. It's a calm morning. barge being loaded at the wharf at Portland with cement. Here's the gap between Rat Island on the left and, well, swampy mainland, high tide only, and in behind is Manganese Point and Home. Behind that is Mount Mania and Mount Aubrey, and behind that is Bream Head in the far distance. Dark line looks like the easterly coming in. Right, just coming into the mooring, and one of the controls has fallen off. Better fix that. It's just slipped sideways off its spline, so I pushed it back on. I'll just do up the screw here. Right, had a bit of trouble picking the mooring up. Not only did the gear throttle lever come loose, but the top rope was wrapped around the mooring chain, but managed it. So engine hours on starboard seem to reset every time, so it was 0.8 I think yesterday. Better remember to fully close the hatch above my bed. Right, main power off. We still have power to the freezer and the bilge pumps. Right, also need to remember to close the clear. So it's certainly working much better with the new zips. Well, I'll go to short. Put my thinking cap on as far as this damn starboard engine control system goes. I have downloaded the manual but forgot to bring it. At least we have a lot less weed on the beach and a fairly good covering of shingle for a change. It's normally quite rocky, especially in the centre.